Hey y'all, welcome back to the Free Black Women's Library YouTube channel. This video is a Rambly recap reaction review of episode 4 of the series from HBO, written, produced, directed, and starring Michaela Cole, based on a true experience of Michaela Cole's. It's called I May Destroy You, and episode 4 is called That Was Fun. So this was a emotionally brutal episode, okay? I cried. It was triggering as fuck. It was painful. It was hard. It was heavy. It was violent. Ooh, it was a lot. It was a lot. It was heavy. It was all the things. All the things that involve hard feelings. So That Was Fun begins, and we see Arabella's in therapy. They don't really give us a timestamp. If they did, I might have missed it, but I feel like I watched the episode twice and I didn't see a timestamp. But either way, we're definitely back in present time as opposed to last episode where we flashed back to 3 months earlier. So this video is taking place after the assault and after she's been to the hospital, after she's come to an understanding that something traumatic did happen to her body, her mind, and spirit. So she's in therapy. There are children screaming in front of my building, but I'm going to keep going. So anywho, Arabella is in therapy, and once again we have a beautiful black woman, just like the police officer. Arabella's therapy is this chocolate black woman with natural hair and the kindest eyes, and I'm just like, this casting is giving me life. It feels so good to see all these beautiful brown skinned women in this film. But anywho, Arabella's in therapy, and I think it's her first session, and her publishing company actually is paying for her to see a therapist because they want that book. And, she's probably told them what happened to her, which is why they recommended a therapist. And, therapy is not the easiest thing in the world, but it's also something that I find is absolutely necessary for anyone. Especially if you've gone through some type of trauma. So my hair is distracting me. It's something that I feel is a necessary part of a healing. So I'm glad that she is in therapy. I'm glad that it seems like she has a really good therapist who is able to name what happened to her and to name the symptoms, to name what that experience can do to the mind and the body. She's able to give her some coping tools and some practices that could possibly help her move through the emotions. Arabella's feeling very unsure of herself. She's feeling very afraid and definitely needs to be around friends. So, she's seems to be doing okay, and the therapist recommends yoga, coloring, handicrafts, different things to kind of like help her process and help her deal. And Arabella's definitely listening, and she's definitely open to it. At one point, she calls her roommate to ask him if he would be interested in like doing something with her. He doesn't pick up. He's a musician in a band, which I might have missed that detail before. So, anywho, that happens, and Arabella leaves therapy. Meanwhile, in another part of town, Kwame is doing his scrolly rolly thing on his phone, looking to hook up, looking to, make some friends, make some quick and easy friends. And he does make a quick and easy friend in the bathroom of the supermarket. And this person turns out to be his cashier, and they act like they don't know each other, which is, I guess, how those things can go down. Yeah. So, it's giving you a little insight into Kwame's character. And when I say the word character, I don't mean like him being a good person or a bad person. I just mean like the type of person he is. He's very confident, he's very beautiful, he's very free, and he likes to hook up. So that's fine. It turns out that Kwame is a workout teacher. He teaches workout classes. They kind of felt like HIIT classes where you work up your heartbeat 15 seconds, 20 seconds kind of like things, and then you like stop and do something else. So, Michaela's in his class, and I think I saw Terry in the background, but they didn't show her at all in this episode, so maybe it was just someone that looked like Terry. But anywho, so this guy shows up and kind of like flirts with Kwame, and Kwame's like, oh, okay, this is cute. But Kwame's dad is visiting from Ghana, and so he can't really have company. They walk together, and the guy is still trying to decide whether he's gay or not. He knows that he's attracted to Kwame for sure, and he definitely played the role really, really well. Very beautiful man, very unique and lovely eyes and features, and they have a romantic walk. And Kwame lives with his mom, I think. So Kwame doesn't live with his mom. The guy lives with his mom. So they need to find a place to hook up, right? Because Kwame's dad is visiting, and the other dude doesn't have his own place. So Kwame's like, leave it to me. If I find us a place, would you be down for that? And the guy's like, yeah, I'm down for anything. Famous last words. So Kwame goes on to his little app where he does all his hookups, and he says top and bottom looking for third. And I had to kind of like pause for a moment and think, okay, who's the top and who's the bottom? Is Kwame the bottom or the top? I guess he's the bottom, but I'm not sure because, well, we'll get to it. Anywho, back over in Michaela's part of town, she is now meeting, first she runs to her house to pick up some like pencils and her coloring book. And, she's like, yeah, we see her like searching. And when she pulls that out, it's like, oh yeah, she's trying to follow the advice that the therapist gave. And then we see her on the bus, and it's like tears. And the coloring book is on her lap, and the pencils are like, the pencil case is open. So she's trying, but it's not really working just yet. Or maybe it is, tears are part of the process of healing, right? But it's still hard to watch, and it still had me in my feelings. So, anywho, somebody does respond to Kwame's alert, his little, let's call it grinder alert. And so he brings, dancer baby boy back with him to the guy's place, who's going to be the third. And I got creepy vibes from this guy. I didn't like this guy. And my intuition was right. He just came off real mean. Yeah, he came off real mean. He was mean to the other dude, dancer baby boy, whose name I cannot remember for the life of me, but I'm gonna call him dancer baby boy, okay? So he was mean to him. He only focused on Kwame, and there's something, about doing like a proper threesome hookup. I feel like it's definitely most likely challenging for all three people to get equal attention, but to leave a whole other person out of the equation and just kind of like ignore them is not cool. And that's what they did to him, you know? The grinder dude was just staring at Kwame and he's like, you're so sexy, and you know, what are you about, blah 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 blah. And he just completely dissed homeboy. Like, he didn't even want to look at him. And he's like, I want to fuck you bareback. And Kwame's like, I don't do that, which I respect. You know what I'm saying? If you'll be out here exploring, gotta be safe. I mean, what are people gonna do when it comes to hooking up right now? Because of Corona, like, hooking up still happening? Probably. People out here being reckless, don't want to wear a mask. Maybe they're hooking up with masks on. Who knows? Anywho, so that starts popping off, and Dancer Baby Boy is just like standing there watching. You know, they're not even looking at him. They're here kissing. You know, Kwame goes down on him, and then, you know, it turns out Kwame is the bottom, like I figured. And dude, you know, he does put a condom on and starts fucking Kwame. And then Dancer Baby Boy is like, I'm gonna go. Like, what am I gonna do? Gonna sit here and watch you get fucked when my feelings are for you? You know, he actually genuinely seemed to like Kwame, like just didn't want to fuck him. He wanted to like get to know him. So I felt bad for him. He left. Kwame kind of let him leave, you know, because dude was like, oh, let him go. Let's, you know, let's get this continuing. Let's get this happening. So Kwame's like, okay, whatever. Ooh, this shit right here broke my heart, okay? It was a lot. It was a lot. Oh my God, it was a lot. But we'll get there. So meanwhile, back in Michaela's part of town, the publishing company has hooked her up with this guy, Zayn, who's supposed to like help her with the book because she's completely blocked. She has all these stories and ideas in her mind, but she can't seem to turn them into a coherent story. She doesn't know what her genre is. She's kind of like lost herself. She's hearing this ringing in her ears. She's still having flashbacks of the assault. So, you know, it's complicated. And Zayn, I'm not sure if he knows her history or not, but she ends up getting triggered because they're in a bar and she sees a man with his hand on a woman's knee. She sees people drinking, and, you know, she's not drinking, and seeing even the cup of water in that cocktail glass kind of gets her all freaked out. So she leaves. And she gets home, and, you know, she calls Zayn. He comes over to her place. They start talking. And, you know, she's supposed to be writing a book that was inspired by her tweets, because her tweets were so good and everybody was like, you should write a book. So she's technically not a writer. You know, she is a millennial. But the publishing company believes in her. All her Twitter followers believe in her. So, you know, let's get this book popping, Arabella. Let's get this book popping. But the book ain't popping. And it could be because of the assault, but it could also be because, you know, she was having trouble writing it before she got assaulted. And I think the assault just made things worse for her, emotionally, mentally, in terms of being able to focus. You know, she is kind of out there. She is kind of wild. She's not grounded at all, which is fine. These are not judgment statements, but her not being grounded, doing tons of drugs, and then being assaulted is probably just turned her whole worldview, her whole perspective, her whole way of approaching life, just turned it upside down. But maybe not, because her and Zayn hook up. You know, they go to have sex, and he does something which is really creepy and gross and dishonest. He takes off the condom during sex, which I think they call it stealthing, but it is a violation. You know, it's not a violation the same way an assault is a violation or a rape is a violation, but it is still a violation when a man is having sex with a woman and he has a condom on and she sees he has a condom on and she gives him a condom and makes sure he puts that condom on, and then while they're having sex he takes it off. That's can't trust it. Nope. It is an extremely dishonest move, and it is a violation of that woman or man or person's body for them to think they are having safe sex with you and then to find out that they haven't. So that pissed me off. But you know, Arabella doesn't seem upset about it. You know, she's just like, I gotta get that morning after pill and you're gonna pay for it. So they go to the spot, to the bodega, what I would call a bodega. I'm not sure what they're called in London. They go to the bodega and she takes the pill and they get some snacks and they're walking, right? And then over in Kwame's world, there's this back and forth taking place, and it's a little jarring emotionally, but I guess it's meant to be. And so then we have the rape. You know, we did not see Michaela's assault, but we see all of Kwame's assault. You know, Michaela's assault, I keep saying Michaela, Arabella. Arabella's assault is hinted at. It's said and mentioned, and we see a little scene. It's talked about, but we don't get graphic details from her, and we haven't had a graphic scene as of yet, which I'm thankful for. I don't need one. But Kwame's rape, we see it from beginning to end, and it is brutal, and it is painful, and it is sad as fuck. This dude takes advantage of him, you know? So Kwame's like, all right, that was fun, which is the name of the episode, and is about to leave, and the guy doesn't let him leave. He throws him on the bed, you know, and Kwame's like, oh, I don't want to have any more sex. And the guy's like, you know, this isn't sex. So that guy knew what he was doing. He knew it was, oh my God. It really fucked me up, y'all. It really fucked me up. I felt so bad for Kwame. I felt so bad for him. And dude's like, what can I say? I'm a bad boy. Ooh. So Kwame leaves, and for a second I thought Dancer Baby Boy was going to be waiting outside for him, but he long gone, and I don't blame him. But Kwame leaves and he calls Arabella, and Arabella's like, hey, and he's like, hey, and they're like, hey, bae, and love you, and blah, 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 and it's, you know, and you can tell that they have a close friendship, and they care about each other, and Kwame wanted to talk about what happened, but he probably didn't know how to talk about it, you know? And it just made me think of all these different things that can happen to a person, you know, when they're out here in the world. And, you know, woman, trans woman, femme person, smaller person, more vulnerable person. It just makes me think about like safety and protection, and it was just really scary. And I could see the wheels turning in his mind of like, how is he even gonna talk to people about this experience? Like, how is he gonna like say that he was raped? You know, we get to hear that his father is homophobic, and you know, maybe he's not gonna tell Arabella because he doesn't want to trigger her because of her experience, or maybe he doesn't want to tell her because he's embarrassed and ashamed, or feeling guilty, you know, or he's just doesn't want to talk, is afraid to talk about it. But either way, he starts crying, but doesn't talk about what happened to her, and says, "I just called to say goodnight." And she's like, "Oh, good night, bae. Love you, bae." You know, and he's like, "Good night, bae." And they hang up. And that's pretty much how this episode ends. And it was a heartbreaker. It was a heartbreaker. And I feel so bad for Kwame. Between the scene of her on the bus crying and him at the end crying, I was like emotionally exhausted from this episode. So let me get to my segment, okay? 4 things that hurt, and 4 things that healed, and my favorite thing. Okay, so the first thing on my list of the 4 things that healed was the dance class. Seeing the workout class looked really, really great. Looked really, really awesome. You know, seeing Michaela in that beautiful head wrap and Kwame in that unitard and them working out was awesome. Her going to grab her coloring book and her pencils. And even though she was crying while she was coloring, I was still proud of her for doing that work, making an effort. So that was healing. The third thing that healed is actually she seems to be getting better. She seems to be working on expressing herself. You know, she's in therapy, so that's awesome. And the 4th thing that I found healing about this episode is Kwame's comfortability with being gay, being a gay man. You know, he has no shame, and he's out loud and proud. You know, even his father knows he's gay, and he's like, yeah. So those are my 4 things that healed: the workout class, the coloring book, even though she was crying. Arabella seems to be getting better. Number 4, Kwame is comfortable in his sexuality. Okay, just like Terry was in last episode. Interesting. So, 4 things that hurt: Kwame's rape, of course; Zane's deception. Yeah, that was hurtful. And the 3rd thing that hurt was Kwame not feeling like he could talk to Michaela about what happened. And the 4th thing is the ringing in her ears. Every time she heard that ringing sound, she would have a flashback of the assault. So the ringing. So the 4 things that hurt: Kwame's rape, Zayn's deception with the condom, Kwame feeling alone, and not being able to communicate about his experience. And the fourth thing is the ringing in the ears. Now, my favorite thing in the episode, as you know, this segment is called Four Things That Hurt, Four Things That Heal, and my favorite thing about the episode was Arabella's therapist. Okay, I love this character. I hope that we get to see more of her in future episodes. I don't care if we never see Zane again. I don't like him. I want Kwame to get revenge on old dude somehow, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. But either way, I hope that he gets to the point where he will talk to someone about what happened to him. Maybe Dancer Baby Boy will come back in his life, who knows. But either way, the therapist was my favorite thing. I loved her character. I loved the way she spoke to Arabella. I love how patient she was. I love that she made room for silence. And I love that she offered multiple suggestions on things that Arabella could do to work through her trauma. I love that she named her trauma. And yeah, you know, this is part of the process of healing. So that's it. I am really, really enjoying this series. I think it's extremely well crafted, extremely well written, extremely well acted. The camera work is awesome. The music is awesome. Yeah, I'm enjoying it, and I look forward to seeing episode 5. All right, and I hope to see you there. So please give me a like and leave a comment. Let me know what hurt you about this episode. Let me know what healed you. Let me know what your favorite thing was. And let me know what you think of this series. Who's your favorite character? What are you hoping for Kwame? And yeah, what are you hoping for yourself? All right. Have a good night, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.